step you want to do. I would say, again, going back to the analogy with a surgeon, when you're calling around, do your due diligence, and you want to speak to as many agencies as you can and detectives, and you really want to go with, you want to follow your gut feeling in a way. The person that sounds like they're very knowledgeable, that they are going to help you, and they are a full service agency, that's something to be way heavy on you with your decision. You want to check into their credentials. Are they, there's a lot of types of investigators out there. You want to have an agency that specifically has a lot of experience in infidelity cases, because infidelity cases are, very specific, and the tactics and the kind of investigative work that's done is not like, for instance, maybe a criminal case or a missing persons case. So you want to make sure that they have a lot of experience in infidelity investigations. Another way is a good company, should be registered with the Better Business Bureau. You want to see their rating if they're an A or A+ credited agency. It gives them a little bit more weight as far as that, because people, if there's any complaints, if they're professionally run, you definitely want to look at that. Most states also have like a lot of professional agents, professional memberships that detectives belong to, like networks of group. And you want to see what associations, professional investigator associations they belong to, because those are run, and they're only going to have members that are known and then do good work, and that are professional. You want to make sure about that. You want to check references. Even in infidelity cases, like when people hire us and they ask, do we have references? We have, reference sheets. Obviously, we can't give, or an agency is not going to give you people that really were involved in infidelity cases due to confidentiality and that kind of thing. But there's certainly, their lawyers or other corporations or other things from other investigative work you've done. You want to have some kind of reference list. We have reference lists from people's therapists that know the situation, the work that we've done for their clients, lawyers that handle these cases. So a good reference list is something definitely to look for. I would say you have to make sure when you're hiring an investigator, you know exactly what you're paying. You know exactly what you're getting. In New York and most states, the laws are there's going to be a contract or a statement of services where you're going to enter in a contract or an agreement with the investigation agency, and you're going to pay a certain amount for what they're going to provide to you. Now, usually it's going to be based on time, especially in an infidelity case, because it's going to be a surveillance-intensive investigation where the meat and potatoes, as I said before, is going to be that physical evidence, putting people under surveillance. And you want to make sure what the rates are. You want to make sure our particular agency works on a flat rate where we include everything. So most things that are associated with infidelity investigations is going to be the surveillance. Now, when we do a case, obviously you want to make sure you're getting a report of an investigation, a written report that's going to document all of the evidence that was uncovered during the investigation, as well as any video footage that might have been obtained during the investigation. So we always provide our clients with a report of an investigation, with a video of all their evidence. You want to make sure that all the expenses and miscellaneous stuff like mileage and travel time and all that kind of stuff, either they have a set rate so you know what you're paying for it, or if it's a flat rate and it's included. A lot of investigation agencies are like attorneys, where they take a retainer and they work off and they kind of charge for a lot of different things. But so you have to really be aware what you're paying for. I believe in the flat rate system. So, people are already in emotional distress, and they, the last thing you want them to worry about is, their bill, and if they're going to have this huge bill and they don't know what they're getting. So I always believe in an agency that has a flat rate basis or a very clear contract, so you can enter an agreement with them so there's no surprises. You want to make sure about the investigation agency's policies. How are you going to be updated? A lot of people, especially in infidelity cases, they want to know what's going on. So you want to make sure that there's a clear understanding that the investigation agency is going to verbally update you, or update you with emails, or whatever your preferred method of getting verbal updates during the course of the investigation. So North American Investigations, we'll always, give access to our clients in whatever method they want, whether it's phone calls or emails, to explain, status reports, what's going on during their investigation. And at the conclusion of the investigation, what we want to do is we want to then put together our full final written report, prepared in an evidentiary manner if you need it for any kind of court proceedings or any thing like that, as well as all of our evidence, video evidence put on a digital DVD for you, that kind of thing. You want to make sure that, obviously if there's an infidelity case, your significant other is possibly involved with somebody else. So identifying who that person is a big question. You know, a lot of people want to know, who is this person that they're involved with? Is it a coworker? Is it an ex-girlfriend? Is it someone they know? Is it someone random? They meet them on the internet. So being able to identify, you know, you don't want to receive a report from an investigator and said, you know, your significant other was involved with, you know, an unknown person. I mean, you want to have more of a closure and know who it is. So we always try to identify and do a full background on any potential suspects. So who they are, where they live, what the connection or the collusion is between these two people, and that gives people closure about, you know, what's going on and how it might have started and maybe how long it started and that kind of thing. Another thing is, nowadays, you want to see what technology your investigation agency is utilizing. Are they using tracking devices? What type of, are they going to give you still photographs as opposed to full motion video? You know, there's a lot of agencies are not going to tell you, you know, their trade secrets of how they go about their investigations, but they'll tell you, you know, what particular tools they'll use to help you. You know, we'll discuss with our clients, and we'll, you know, whatever is applicable for that case, we're going to do. I think what makes a good detective and a good agency is definitely the ability to adjust and adapt to any situation, whether it's in the field or whether you're, you know, doing the paper trail type of investigative work for that case. So you want to make sure you have people that have a good attention to detail as well.
So flat rate is the best thing. Better Business Bureau, accredited. How many people would be working on a case? Like if I was to hire a private investigator, are you looking for like a team of people? Are you looking for one person to deal with? Or I guess you don't want to know that, do you?
Well, I mean, I don't think people, I mean, some people want to know the logistics of how you go about it, and some people just want their answers.
Right.
So we'll explain it to who wants to know or not. I mean, like, for instance, in New York City. New York City, it's a big metropolis city. You have to, you know, you need people that are very familiar with the city, that have done surveillance here, especially when you're using surveillance teams. Most of our surveillance teams are comprised of former narcotics agents and FBI task force guys, because they have a lot of undercover experience. So you want to make sure you have people that are seasoned, and you want to make sure, we usually use like a two-man team, let's say in Manhattan.
Interesting.
Because you want to have a mobile unit, someone jumps in a cab, but if someone goes into the subway, they're on foot. So you want to, there's usually
let's get them. I'm so excited.
we work in specialized teams, which is usually the best. You'll have a supervisory detective assigned to the case. You'll have a lieutenant assigned for the operational aspects.
Interesting.
You'll have the field unit. So it's a little like a paramilitary organization.
Making it more and more attractive, I have to tell you. So I have some questions from our online participants.
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
First from Alley Cat wants to know, has anyone ever hired you twice?
Oh, absolutely. But people hire me many times.
Really? So what, for the same person or for different following relationships?
So, listen, I've said it before, we're not in a marriage or relationship wrecking business. Some people can get past, everybody has their own threshold of forgiveness or why it happened, and sometimes relationships are stronger. Some people will stay in a relationship and they'll have to rehire us again. A lot of times we do maintenance investigations because that trust has been broken.
Oh, yes.
So even though you're working, I know, right?
That's not a bad idea at all.
Just to be, you know, kind of just, you know what, I'm forgiving them, but let's just make sure everything's legit. It's just, you got to rebuild that trust back in your relationship. So we help people with that too.
That's so funny. So here's one from Oliver456, and he wants to know, so what happens after you get proof that someone's cheating? Does your client confront them, or do you?
Generally, that's up to the client to do. And my advice for that is you need to do it in a certain way. You know, I think, look, it also depends, is this someone that's married? Is this a relationship that you can easily walk away from? Where it's if a boyfriend and girlfriend, you don't live together, you can make it clean and you break up. But is this a marriage where you have kids and there's a lot of stuff? People, you have to do things in a correct way. Especially if you have kids, you have to realize, as hurt and as devastated as you might be, you have to understand that you're tied to this person the rest of your life if you have children with them. And you want to try to maintain a good relationship with them, because you could have a lifetime of misery. You know, you want to attend your children's graduations and school things and events, and you don't want to have to always be an enemy with that person. So
ugly to begin with, don't make it more ugly.
Yeah, and I would always suggest if you're going to confront someone, you always have to confront someone. This always has to come to a head for the relationship to work out.
That's good to know.
Do it in a public place. Do it in a place where there can't. Yeah, do it in a place where people can't blow up or any violence, God forbid.
On either side,
on either side, where you can be, you know, in a place where it's environmentally controlled. That would be my suggestion.
Oh, that's a good suggestion. So let's end on a positive note.
Sure.
What would you say? What would you say the percentage of people that have found out their spouses were cheating and they worked it out, they got back together? Are there a lot of happy stories? Are there any happy stories?
There are happy stories.
Yeah.
There are happy stories. You know, again, that's a personal thing. There are people that are able to have forgiveness and will go on and figure out what was the initial reason that there was this infidelity and maybe work on that and have a stronger relationship. And there's some people that have no threshold for it and feel once that's, that trust is broken, it's over.
Now, having seen it all, what do you think, just from your own personal stand, what's better, yes or no? Make it work or hit the road?
Again, I think if you're in
you're diplomatic.
Well, I think if you're married,
yeah,
there's more things there that you have to worry about. A lot of people don't want to leave because of the children and stuff like that. And one way I agree with that, and I understand that. One way, listen, you're in charge of your own happiness and destiny.
Right.
Whatever's going to make you happy in the long run is what you need to do.
And this is a good way to stay in charge of it.
Yeah.
I want to thank you so much for this advice from an expert.